Did you know that eating vegetables at their peak season is actually more nutritious and actually tastes better? Well, stick around because we're talking about the 5 spring vegetables that you need to have in your kitchen right now.
The reason I chose these 5 is because one of them you see everywhere, but I want you to realize it's mostly eaten in spring. The other 4 I've chosen are usually only found in spring. The great thing about cooking in spring is that these are at their freshest, but the bad thing is they're not available for that long.
So you want to take advantage and really enjoy the bounty of the season.
When I work at a restaurant, one of the things that we always look forward to is changing the menus during the season.
So if you don't know, we used to work together, and I remember during the spring, you always had rhubarb. Alistair was the food and beverage director, and he kept saying, rhubarb, rhubarb. Can he have anything else besides rhubarb? You love rhubarb.
I just love it because it's just great. It's sweet and savory. You can make wonderful dishes using it both ways. And it's only available a couple, maybe about a month and a half out of the year. Why not use it?
We actually made a dish with rhubarb in our Easter celebration, and you can get this exact recipe in your copy of Host Magazine, and we're gonna link it in the comments later for you.
It was an amazing rice pudding. So let's start with rhubarb. Ideally, it has to be all red, nothing green, the inside, all white inside. A couple of things that I like doing with it is cutting it small, maybe boiling or doing a simple syrup and just pouring it right over. So there you have your poached rhubarb. It's so good classically with strawberries for like a strawberry rhubarb pie. But when I worked in kitchens in New York City, I learned, first of all, never saw this in Miami ever.
Also, it really looks like a celery stalk.
Yes.
Right?
And it's crunchy. It's just, I mean, I'll do it for you. Look at that. Look at all that. It's just beautiful inside. What I did with it, I worked with some great chefs, and they would serve this with duck, a duck breast with some poached rhubarb. It's just absolutely wonderful. You can make like a little rhubarb ketchup. It's a little hot. You just stir it really quickly with some foie gras, something she absolutely adores. It's savory and sweet. It just gives it a beautiful flavor that you can get with something else.
Now let's talk about the second vegetable. This probably is available year-round, but this is the best time to get it. Asparagus.
You go to the farmer's market now, you might see purple asparagus, organic asparagus. If you're lucky, white asparagus. I just think it's a great vegetable. It's year-round, but ideally it is eaten in the spring. And that's when I think is at its best. Or when I see it on a menu, I just automatically think of spring. I like buying them, not the smaller ones. Those are usually called pencil asparagus. I actually like peeling them. So this is probably like about a standard asparagus. You would definitely peel this. And sometimes just cut it.
With a vegetable peeler?
Yes. And then just snap off about 2 inches from the bottom. That's what you want to hear to see if it's fresh. You want to hear that snap.
You mean you want to do this at the farmer's market?
Yeah, why not? Yes, at the farmer's market. The one thing is when you go to a farmer's market, you'll always be able to taste everything. Can I taste it? Can I snap it? That's what people want to do, because if you do that, you might end up buying it. Also, you don't have to throw these away. You can use them for vegetable stock. So you're using everything. Even if you're using the top of the spear, which is the nicest looking part, you can still use the rest for like a puree, a sauce, or even add it to your risotto. You can do an asparagus risotto, garnish it with the top. Inside is made with all the little rings of asparagus.
So that's a great recipe to have for the spring, a spring asparagus risotto.
Yes, you can. And then again, want to make it more spring, Tony? Why don't you add a little bit of Meyer lemon to it? So it's like a lemon asparagus risotto. If you want to go ultra fancy, add some morels to that, which is just perfect spring mushroom.
We actually made an asparagus dish as our first course for Easter. Again, that's available in Host, our free digital magazine, which you're going to have linked below. But in this dish, we did asparagus, mushrooms, and Meyer lemons.
So one thing about this, whenever you buy these vegetables from the farmer's market, they don't have a large shelf life. So don't buy too much. Buy what you need for a few days. You can always go back the following week. Again, these asparagus will be great for 2 or 3 days in the fridge. Third spring vegetable is something that you see a lot. Frozen or canned English peas in the pot. You're making a cold pea soup, go with the frozen. You want to add it to some fried rice or to something else. Buy the frozen. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're walking by your grocery store in March, April, or May, and you see peas in the shell, try them. You are going to love them. It is a little bit more work, but if you're cooking for 2, 3, 4 people, it's not that bad. You just take them out of the shell. As you can see here, Tony, Look at the beautiful peas right there. You would blanch these in boiling water. You do have to peel the shell, okay? The
Of each individual pea.
Individually, yes. So you know what quality restaurant you're working at when the chef has you peel every single one of them. There is a difference, and it's buttery, creamy when you eat them.
What happens if you don't peel these?
It looks like a wrinkled raisin, I guess, like a green, ugly raisin. Once you cook it, you definitely want to blanch it, shock it in ice water. Again, for peas, some lamb, you mash them up a little bit. You do like a little stir fry with some mushrooms and add some peas to it. Again, it's for the color, the freshness of doing something that you cannot do all year round. So try it. It's easier to peel once they're cooked, okay? Don't peel them before that. But again, you do taste the difference once it's peeled after. Beautiful, creamy. I guess that's the one thing I'll tell you. Fresh, bright green, and just perfect for this time of the year.
All right, beans are good for the heart.
Fava beans, similar to the English pea, but just a lot bigger, and it feels a lot softer, but inside it is absolutely beautiful. Ooh, look how big these beans are. It's just absolutely beautiful.
They're huge.
Cook them the same way as the English peas.
Do you peel these off?
Yeah.
You still do?
Yes, you do. Again, easier to do after they're cooked. Okay, they fall apart. They're bright green, creamy, delicious. If you just do freshness, imagine adding a little stir fry of some mushrooms, some peas, maybe some heirloom carrots, and some fava beans. Or I think the Italians even will get them. They'll mash them lightly on top of a little crostini, a little bit of ricotta cheese on top. Boom, olive oil. That is a great spring snack to have. Great with lamb. Obviously, Easter, a leg of lamb with some fava beans on the side would be a great thing. It will not be available 2 months from now, 3 months from now. It's available right now.
Again, so take it back.
Yes.
And now this brings us to our final.
We're going to be talking about morel mushrooms. This mushroom is only available in the spring. They are extremely pricey, about $60 a pound. The good thing about them, if you are going to buy them, you can pick through them. Some look great, some not so much. The reason they cost so much money, you don't grow them under a greenhouse. They have to be picked in many areas, and not every part of the country has them. Usually they come from the Pacific Northwest, probably the Pennsylvania area, and they're hard to find. A lot of moisture in them, so you want to be careful once you pick them. When I worked at John George in New York City, during the spring, that was probably the most popular item on the menu. We cooked asparagus fresh to order, put them on a plate with some asparagus puree from the bottom of the asparagus, and then we did like a ragu of sauteed morel mushrooms. Imagine you cook morel mushrooms with some salt, pepper, some butter. When they're done, you add a touch of cream, and the secret ingredient to make it extra creamy, you know what it was?
What?
Hollandaise. So the hollandaise gives this richness that's absolutely beautiful with the morels. And in a risotto, I've also seen it stuffed with something fancy, some foie gras. It makes something elegant when you see morel mushrooms on the table.
So it's definitely a luxury item to have. So this is something you want to serve when you're celebrating a special occasion.
Or honestly, if you've never had them before and you go to a restaurant that you really enjoy, it has really good quality, and you see morels on the menu, try it. Sometimes it's better to try it once than to buy it. Try it once and see if you like it for the future.
So each of these 5 vegetables brings something special to the table, whether you're throwing a big party or whether you're having an intimate dinner.
So you're trying to not just have a great seasonal menu, seasonal party at home, but you also want to educate yourself and your friends and guests over by having things they might not normally have.
All right, so we'd love to hear from you. Which one of these vegetables are you excited to try? Put them in the comments below and let us know what you will be making.
And if you're wondering how to keep all these vegetables fresh, just wait for the next video. We're here to make cooking and entertaining something that you can really enjoy.
Didn't you have a fight with a chef before about fava beans? Do you remember that one?
No, I did not.
No?
Could
With
have
Gerard?
been.
Remember
No, it
that
wasn't.
one?
It wasn't fava beans. It wasn't fava beans. It was something else. But it did happen a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if I did have a fight regarding fava beans in the kitchen.